Hello, everybody. My name is Mary Howard Leppo, and I am an integrative nutrition health coach. I specialize in perimenopause and menopause, but I also help people with other things as available. And this is my Meno-Musings. And today I want to talk about Meno-Mindset, and particularly things involving joy, the Meno-Mindset of joy around this time. And so, while it can be very tumultuous for different reasons, especially when we're trying to figure out, navigate our bodies and what's going on, it can also be a very joyous time. So I want to talk about the good things that can happen to us during this time, because I don't think that often gets talked about enough. And again, a lot of it's mindset. So if you're always like, well, I can't do this, and so I just have to suffer, and this sucks, and this is bullshit that I have to go through this and that and the other. Nothing will shift for you, nothing will change. And yes, it will suck, and yes, it will be bullshit, and it will stay like that. But if we change our mindset and focus on what's going right, we can really open up a whole new world of possibilities. So I wanted to go through a few things here that are good things. So periods. This is a sign in life where we know sooner or later, more sooner rather than later, our periods, our time of having a period is going to come to an end. And while that might be tumultuous in the process, especially if you're having very erratic periods right now, they're not coming on time, they're longer, they're shorter, they are unpredictable, that sort of thing. We know sooner or later that's going to end. And that can be a joyous thing, because now your life is not dictated around that. So if you enjoy sex and you like having sex, you no longer have to plan that or do things around your period. You can just do it whenever you want, because you don't have that to deal with, right? Although for some people, being on the period doesn't really bother them. For a lot of women, it's kind of a no deal. So you don't have to plan around that. I personally love hiking, and I hated doing hiking when it was that time of the month because it wasn't comfortable. What if I needed to change something or whatever, and facilities aren't available? I don't have to worry about that anymore, right? So, and when you're no longer having periods, you're also no longer buying pads, tampons, cups, period underwear, whatever it is that you're using. So maybe have a little few extra bucks in your pocket every month, right? Because you're not dealing with that anymore. So you've got that. If you are someone who is trying to prevent a pregnancy from happening during this time, once you cross over into postmenopause, your periods stop and you are no longer fertile. You don't have to worry about birth control methods anymore, because you can't get pregnant anymore. So whether that's form of hormonal birth control, whether it's condoms with your partner, whatever it is, that's not something that you have to worry about anymore. So that could be good, right? Something else that I really have liked about this time is the BS meter, the bullshit meter. It becomes more refined during this time. So as long as you're paying attention to these cues and honoring red flags that come from people, it's going to be easier for you to see through people's bullshit, right? There was a meme that came out a couple months ago, and it was a scene from the Jungle Book, Disney Jungle Book cartoon, and it was one of my favorite scenes. I love the character Kaa the snake, and just his goofiness. And he was basically trying to convince Shere Khan about, hypnosis, so that Kaa could potentially eat him. And so he comes up, up against Shere Khan, and, singing a song, "Trust in Me." And Shere Khan, bats him away. And he's like, "No, I can't be bothered with that right now. I have no time for that nonsense." So it's very similar to that. You can see through people's nonsense a lot better than maybe you used to. And the nice thing is, based on my personal experience and talking with other women who have crossed over, that tends to stay with you. It's not just a temporary thing when you're going through perimenopause. It sticks with you as you go on. So that is amazing. So that's a positive. And with that, maybe you get more insight and realizations. So maybe now you're suddenly thinking about, why have I put up with that for so long when I really don't like that? Why am I doing that? Why am I putting up with? I really don't like that. Or now you're realizing that that person's not really my friend. And I don't think she's ever really been my friend. So why do I really care what that person thinks? Why am I making it a priority to hang out with this person? Or, maybe you're in a bad romantic relationship, whether that's, partner, spouse, or whoever. And you're like, why am I tiptoeing around this person, trying to worry about their reactions and keeping them happy and what they're doing, and then shoving all of my happiness and my needs down and aside for this person? Well, that doesn't work for me anymore. I'm not going to do that. There's a reason why a lot of women get divorced during this time. It's not necessarily because they don't want to be married. It's because they've come to the realization that what they've been doing no longer works for them, and they don't want to put up with it anymore, and their partner doesn't like the change. Okay, so that's kind of what happens. I'm not saying go get a divorce, but I'm saying if something's no longer working for you and you've had discussions and it's clearly not going to change, maybe something to think about. And with that can come for, a new desire for change. Maybe, you just want to change in your environment now. Maybe you don't like the color of paint on your wall. And so now you're refreshing that. Maybe you're like, this furniture worked for me for the last 20 years. It doesn't work for me now. I want something different. I'm into art now. I want more artwork, beautiful artwork in my home. Maybe it's like, well, let me back up and tell my personal story. So, and this a lot kind of came out of COVID. So during COVID, like many people, there wasn't a whole lot to do. So I got comfortable: jeans, t-shirts, hoodies, yoga pants, those kinds of things. And then over time, that kind of became my wardrobe. And maybe I had a few pieces of other things, but that was pretty much my wardrobe: jeans, t-shirts, hoodies, and yoga pants. And so now I've kind of come to this realization that I really want to get back to how I was when I really liked myself. And it was, for me, kind of a picture of what I view as a beautiful femininity. Hopefully I said that word right. But you get what I mean. So for me, that's wearing not expensive, not designer clothes, but maybe more updated, stylish clothes that fit my body for right now, that make me feel confident and good in. I have a signature perfume scent. I wear that every time I leave the house. Not when I go teach a yoga or Pilates class, but for any other occasion, I wear that every time I leave the house, no matter what it is I'm wearing. I've got my signature perfume on. I like to always have a little bit of jewelry, which is going to be a ring or two, a necklace, and earrings. That doesn't have to be flashy, doesn't have to be expensive, but I've got something on because I like that look. Another thing is, I saw one of my teachers do this, and I really, really liked it. I drink water out of a crystal goblet now. I've got my lemon slice floating in here. So when I'm home, this is how I drink water. And I have actually discovered, not only does this kind of elevate that experience of drinking water, I'm actually drinking more water now out of this goblet than I was drinking straight out of my water bottle at home. Now, I still use my water bottle. I use that to measure my water. So I pour my water into the goblet from my water bottle, so I know how much I'm drinking. But I actually drink more water this way. And another thing I've also found, why do I have all of this fine china that only gets used 2 or 3 times a year max, when I can elevate a nice meal or two during the week, eating on that china and using what I have? So the, place settings that we got when we were married, we're using that now for dinner 2 or 3 times a week, and just really elevates that experience. I'm not saying throw out all your casual stuff, but, use what you have. If you don't have a whole set, you're like, well, I would really like to, curate something like that during the week. Place settings are very simple. They can come in one setting at a time. So if it's just you and a partner and you don't want to, get a set of 12 or anything like that, just get 1 or 2 sets. And then that could be your elegantness that you bring into your life every week. So there's that. It can be, you want to travel more to more exotic places versus maybe, the same places all the time. Maybe you want to, if you've been only going to Florida or North Carolina, which is very popular from where I'm at, maybe you want to go to California, or maybe now you want to go and discover Europe, or just go to different places, or maybe visit the national parks. Totally okay. Creative outlets. I know several women who have taken up painting. They've taken painting classes and are creating beautiful pieces of art that satisfies them. A lot of women, they get tired of doing what they're doing, so maybe they look for a different career, a new job. A lot of women, such as myself, start their own business. All of those kinds of things. So again, mindset is very important. Not everything has to be doom and gloom. A lot of it is what you make of it. Surround yourself with more positive people. Surround yourself with people that you want to be more like. So, for example, if I want to be a successful health coach, I want to hang out with the health coaches that are successful, not the ones that are constantly struggling to get clients. If I want to be a successful yoga or Pilates instructor, I'm going to hang out and study with the people who are successful doing that, not the people that are struggling to fill our classes. Okay. So surround yourself with people that are like the people that you want to be. Same thing. You want to eat healthy? Hang around people who want to eat healthy. You don't want to drink alcohol anymore? Don't hang around with people who have to have a drink every single day or multiple drinks every day. Hang out with people who aren't doing that as much or don't do it at all. Your environment matters. So all of that to say, there can be joys during this time. What that means for you is going to be very individual, but it is out there. I hope you find it. Mindset is everything. If you have any ideas for your positive Meno mindset, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to drop me a message below. You can email me, and I will see you again really soon for part 2.